Well, checking in on the price of Bitcoin, over $30,000 per coin, up over 80% year to date, hitting a 6-week high. Jared, we had this conversation in the previous block with our guest from Verify, who's saying essentially, look, it's not necessarily that all investors are back in favor with Bitcoin, because you want to differentiate from those who were really hurt significantly during the collapse last year. But at least for today, to your point, because of what we heard from BlackRock and Wisdom Tree, a lot of investors getting in, maybe a sign of optimism here.
I think so, or at least we're out of pessimism. I mean, what other bad news could come out with respect to crypto? I think there is one huge looming piece of news, which is that Binance runs into catastrophic failure. And I don't want to spread rumors. That's not even on my radar here, but that's something I was looking for. But absent that, we've had the SEC going after not only Coinbase, but also Binance. We've had the rash of bankruptcies last year. I think the market was just in the mood for some good news here. I was making the point that technically Bitcoin was poised for a breakout. We got some news here. Maybe that Chair Gensler here is not as anti-crypto as we thought, or at least is going to take his foot off the brakes here. But Bitcoin really up strong here. Let me show you a 2-day chart. I guess we're only going to get the intraday, but also you take a look at what's happened over the last 2 years, still in the bottom 1/4 of that range. And then I'm also taking a look at the chip sector. AMD and Nvidia, big names in the red today, continuing a recent sell-off for the stock market. And they are the stock market's most popular trade, because that is the next bubble, I guess, as market participants are seeing. But let's check out the Wi-Fi Interactive. Just want to show you the sea of red on your screen today. That's in the chip sector. And I think some of this has to do with the comments that we got from Chair Powell, is that we're not done. And maybe there's a little bit of hesitancy to throw money at this continued bubble trade in the midst of that, or at least in the face of that. But Akiko?
Yeah, Jared, you also have to wonder how much profit taking is happening when you consider just the incredible run up that we have seen in some of these chip makers. As we talked about earlier on in the show, it is the buzzword, and we have seen it increasingly getting frothy, especially with names like Nvidia as well as AMD. Well, Tesla shares closing the day in the red after analysts at Barclays downgraded the EV maker to equal weight from overweight, pointing to the recent AI boom as to what's driving the current stock rally in past weeks. At the same time, Barclays also raised their price target on the EV maker to $260, up from $220 a share, with them seeing a significant long-term opportunity for Tesla. Looking through the note here, Jared, specifically when it comes to what we heard from Dan Levy over at Barclays, he says that that the market is overlooking some of the immediate term challenges, which includes potential price cuts with more competition there, as well as the pressure on profit margins. The market getting really excited over these partnerships with GM, with Ford, and then, of course, the potential for robotaxis with Tesla licensing out that technology.
Yeah, well, most of all the great things that are going to happen with Tesla probably in the future, and not even the close future. And that's been the moat. That's been one of the moats that it gets investors excited about this. But yeah, still a lot of work to be done.